YouTube. Happy Tuesday, 1 November 2022. This is the COVID-19 pandemic chronology video for the day. So do I have any updates? Yes. My mom and I went to the Bothell feed store this morning and we checked out the corn. To address the corn in, not corn in moths. Well, the moths do eat the corn, so in that sense the corn is in the moths. But the moths in corn problem, so it's ongoing. I still shake out the corn every day or every other day that we got from Home Depot. It was infested, and that's been coming up on a month now of that being a problem. So we're like, okay, let's see. The corn price per pound from Home Depot costs $1.50. It's 1.50 exactly. Or like 1.49999 kind of thing. So $1.50 per pound. So like, all right, we're going to the Bothell feed store to get food for the critters being the gray squirrels, red squirrels, and feathered beauties of the backyard, and other critters of the backyard. And we're like, all right, let's check out the corn. They had a small bag of corn, which looked good. There were no moths or anything. And they had a space for a big bag of corn, 25 pounds for $29.99, which is like literally like a hair under $1.20 per pound. So 30 cents cheaper, which for a 25-pound bag, that starts to add up. That's over $7 of saving for the same amount of weight. And so we were like, great price. One catch. They were sold out. So we did not get it, and they were gonna get the next shipment in on Thursday, and today is Tuesday. So we decided not to get the corn, and so it was, when we start to get low on corn, check back at Home Depot. But yeah, it was cheaper in the quality for what was there, and we've gotten it in the past. We haven't had the moths and corn problem, period, with that corn. But we checked it out, and it's cheaper, but did not get anything because they didn't have anything. That's how life goes. And so that's my main update for the day. It's the one that'll go in the video description. I guess I can think of, so pandemic daydreams, thinking of life with my soulmates. It would be really cool if we could have the squirrels. Like, not squirrels, like any gray squirrels. I mean, like, it'd be fun to have pumice, you know, have like cubicles, get whatever paperwork we need to actually have them as pets wherever we live, kind of thing. And like have like little cubbies for them, have like a scar baby cubby and a molten cubby and a timber cubby, where Blotchy Man can be with his wife, Scar baby, and Droopy Man, and Handsome and Stubbsy, and Budapest and stuff, and have the squirrels have their own little homes, and pumice, and yeah, and the red squirrels. And I bring this up, it'd be cool to have them live with us. And you have like, so growing up, I had longer hair, and my mom's going somewhere. She didn't tell me. Okay, that's okay. But I can see her backing out into the driveway right now. So growing up, when I had longer hair, I would sometimes get like, we'd have these like foamy little hair curlers, and put them in my hair. My hair's not quite long enough for that now. And just curl the hair and then let it out. My hair is when it's longer, it's naturally wavy, so I didn't really do that very often because I didn't need to. But like curly was something my hair was not, just loose waves normally. Without any treatment, without a curling iron or a flat iron or anything like that. And I dropped a paperclip. So it was like, it'd be fun to get tiny little squirrel curlers for their hair on their tail if they let us touch them. They don't let me touch them. And I don't really try to touch them. I touched pumice on accident one time, where it was like I dropped a peanut or something, so I went to pick up the peanut, but she went to get the peanut, and so I ended up like touching her back because we were both going for the same peanut at the same time. Because I was going to get the peanut to give it to her, but she went for the peanut at the same time. So like, if I touch the squirrels, it's kind of an accident. And I touched Doha one time, and he got really friendly after that. But like, I don't do that. I don't have them crawl on my shoulder or anything like that. They're wild squirrels, and we keep them wild. So it'd be cool if we had domesticated squirrels that could also be wild. And that's both the gray squirrels and the red squirrels. And the red squirrels want to move in with me and my soulmate so much that they actually even crawled inside my car one time. And they were like, let's go home. Yeah, there's like, they can climb up under, like by the tires, climb up into the car. So yeah, that has happened before. I think it might have happened with a chipmunk too. We'll take the chipmunk. You know, moving home, get like Nicolo filming Shane and Andre, the squirrel whisperers, moving the squirrels home. I don't know how that would work. That to me is impossible. That's another thing that, like, me getting the rental car from when I went to Scotland in 2019, that's like, I classify that as impossible. But taking these critters with me if I live with my soulmates also kind of feels impossible. At least feels impossible. I would classify that as impossible. Not possible. Could not ever possibly happen, but maybe the husbands go, we want those squirrels living with us. They're our kids, our squirrel kids, our kids, kind of thing. So there's that. So that's kind of expanding on that. Also, so my car doesn't work because the battery is dead. So I can't drive it. And it's kind of interesting because one of the topics that comes up every election day and has come up every election day plus or minus like 2 weeks, like clockwork, in my life since about 2015. So in 2015, I was living in Berkeley, California, around election day, and then a city exactly to the north of Berkeley called Albany, and then here back in city of Shoreline, which is northern suburbs of Seattle. So it comes up around election day every time as a complete ban of gas cars and requiring everybody to drive electric. So I've made mention in at least one video, kind of, I don't support electric cars because of the acid mine drainage and the kind of, a lot of the rare earth minerals that's in my area. A lot of them come from volcanic deposits, and I studied volcanoes. And so my area of research overlaps with mining geology, economic geology, mining. And so a lot of those rare earth minerals these days come from slaves in Africa. And I don't support slavery, period. But I mean, electric vehicles are kind of well known as kind of like white supremacist cars. I don't support that. So like if there were a ban, and then there's the reality check of if they banned all gasoline cars, because I have a gasoline car, a gas car, petroleum. I make $30 every other week. And I don't want to put the burden of exorbitant electric bills on my parents. So I could neither afford the car, nor am I that cruel to put that kind of electric bill money like on my parents. It's the reality of where I am. And in the past can be like, so what would happen if there was a blanket ban on all gasoline cars, which they're trying to push through and have been trying to push through since at least 2015, both in California and Washington State, where I've lived during those times. Well, each time it comes up, I've kind of been like can I live without my car? Let me do that. And I can, right? I purposefully choose places in my past where I worked at the pool over here. It's a third of a mile from the house. I can walk or ride a bicycle. I can go to the library. I can go to the grocery stores like at the top of the hills, 1.6 miles each way. The grocery store in Edmonds is 3 miles. I just ride a bike, right? I'm not going to go out and buy an electric vehicle if there's a ban on gas cars. Have I lived a prolonged period of my life without a car? Yeah. I spent 3 years living in Hawaii, walking and riding the bus everywhere. I did have a bicycle, but the bicycle got stolen. So I didn't actually ride the bicycle anymore. Living on campus, campus dynamics. And so, I can walk, I can ride a bike. I have a bike now. I had a bike as a kid. I did actually ride my bike to work. It's completely unreasonable and very irrational to assume that people would buy an electric car because there's a ban on gas vehicles. Speaking from experience of living car-free after having a vehicle, so living car-free for 3 years, I got a lot of exercise. I was healthier. But okay, maybe not, but like point being, I walked more than I did when I had the car. And it's like, you know what? Maybe that's just a lifestyle. So like, for example, I might go to the library today or in the next couple days and get a movie or movies. I'm not driving my car. I'll walk. Right? I'm not going to go out and buy an electric car to drive me 0.8 miles each way to the library. That's how far it is from my house. Right? Okay, I can walk 1.5 miles, 1.6 miles. Okay. Like, it's a bit of, I have had friends who've done LSD and acid and tripped on acid, and that kind of blanket ban in forcing everybody to have electric vehicles without their consent, right? It's the kind of mental functioning that I have seen come from people who trip on acid. It's that kind of thinking. Somebody's had too much LSD and is trying to push stuff through while using LSD and acid. So it's the reality of LSD bans do come into effect. That's like the Russian bans. They weren't sober when they made those bans. Like, come on. Those people are high and cracked up, cocained up, out of their minds at work. That's just who they are. And stuff like that, human rights violations like that shouldn't happen, but they do. It's just the world we live in these days. So yeah, I don't know if that would get passed or not, but it's a pretty simple solution. Just don't own a car, right? If it's no gas cars, well, I guess I'm not gonna be having a car. Or I could live in a place where gas cars are still allowed, like just emigrate from the United States of America, live in a place where I'm accepted. And then there's also what's the true solution to all this? Oh, every person I know who has or currently owns an electric car said they would sell their electric car in a heartbeat and buy a gasoline vehicle if the gasoline vehicle got 100 miles to the gallon and it was like a 10-gallon tank. It'd be 1,000 miles. It'd be like, technically gas isn't the problem from the electric car owners. I know it's that the gas technology is so far behind and so kind of unreasonable for long distance travel that it's kind of like, why not just get the electric car? If it's the difference between 200 miles and 300 miles, they're just gonna go with the electric vehicle. Now, if the electric vehicle is 300, 400, 500 miles and the gas vehicle gets 1,000 plus miles on one tank of gas, bye-bye electric. So I don't know. And a lot of people I know who own electric cars make money off of the stocks for electric vehicles or electric car companies. So in my experience, I guess what I'm trying to say is people who own electric cars, in my experience, has nothing to do with the environment and everything having to do about promoting electric cars so they can continue making money off of the stocks. It's 100% self-interest and about finance and making money. Nothing to do with the environment. They're like, woohoo, they love acid mine drainage and destroying mountains in Africa and African slavery that is required to get the components needed to build the car. They have no problem with that. That's just the standard electric car owner. I'm not that person. I care about human rights and choose to not violate human rights. And yeah, so that is the update for today. Walking, back to no car, back to Hawaii mode, walking instead of driving.